Hi, Penny. I've got an initial question, and I'll probably have a follow-up. But DeAndre just mentioned that you've installed a new offense over the last couple of days. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how it's different from what you were doing before?
Yeah, it's an offense that I've had for like 12 years. I've always run it on all my other teams, and it's really efficient because it has five bodies moving at all times, and nobody's just being stagnant. It's a lot of movement, so it's hard to kind of. In college, they like to load up in the paint and kind of pack the paint, and then this offense is going to be hard to do that because it's a bunch of moving parts. And I'm very well versed on it because I've been running it for a very long time, and I know all the wrinkles and all the options on it. And it's different from the other offense because we were out on the perimeter. Our bigs were out on the perimeter a lot. Now our bigs are like more in the paint, more around the elbows, more in scoring areas to catch the ball, gives us more opportunities to get offensive rebounding. And that's something that we were really struggling with because we were shooting a lot of threes on one pass, maybe two pass. Bigs weren't in position to get offensive rebounds. And I just feel more comfortable with this offense because I think it's going to help us score more points as well.
How do you find a balance between, finding an offense that works for you and you practice, you get really good at it, and then knowing when to kind of switch things up if something's not working?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just a comfort level for me because I allowed, when Coach Topper came, he's such a brilliant mind. I allowed him to have the offensive side of the ball, and I started doing the defensive side of the ball. And I wasn't feeling comfortable enough for me to make the adjustments that I've always made. When I was at East and when I was with the AAU program early on, especially 8th grade, 9th grade teams, I was always in control of everything so I could kind of maneuver and counter things that were going on. I found myself asking Cody a lot of questions during the game about certain things, even though I knew a majority of it, but I wasn't feeling as comfortable. So I just had to change it to where everything was all about everything that I knew at all times, and I knew the counters on it like right away. Anytime a team would make a move, I would know how to counter it, and I'm more comfortable with that.
Terry?
Hey, happy holidays, Coach. How you doing, my brother?
Doing good.
Hey, man, do you think your guys are overthinking out there and just not playing basketball and just playing loose and free instead of just overreacting?
I can see how that can happen, but I think the overthinking is trying to do too much to showcase themselves. I think sometimes when you come into the game with the wrong agenda, then you can get overwhelmed. You're trying to think about the game plan. You're trying to think about what someone told you to do before the game that wasn't on the staff. You're playing against teammates because you're thinking this teammate isn't passing you the ball. I mean, it's so much going on in these kids' head. Social media, all these things going through their head while the game is going on. And they haven't been able to narrow that focus to just being about the game plan and playing for one another. And over this little break that we had, the bad loss to Tulsa is the adversity that we needed for us to come together. And we're getting much closer now, and the guys are getting much closer.
Jason?
Good morning, Penny. Sorry about that. I remember last year that was one of the things that was cropping up a little bit was guys kind of losing focus and maybe thinking more individually than team-wise. Is that the biggest challenge that you have faced since you took over is cracking that code to get the guys to think the right way, and then that's my question.
Yeah, that's the biggest challenge on this level because in high school, parents just give you their kids. Middle school, parents just kind of give you their kids, and they're like the coach, whatever the coach says. On this level, it's a lot different. Everybody's getting closer to that dream, closer to where they want to be, and that's the NBA. And it just seems like, man, the focus just isn't there. Their hearts are in the right place during practice. They're doing the right things during practice. And then when the game starts, I can see guys starting to deviate from that. And where I need to get better at is when guys start doing that, I need to get them out of the game, bring them over to the sideline and kind of get them refocused. And if I can give myself any criticism, that will be a criticism that I haven't been able to as good at cracking that code of guys as being locked in and focused and not being on self, being more on team throughout the entire game, because it just seems like you can tell when they start wondering, they start looking at the score clock or their body language starts to get bad, and we need them to stay locked in. So I'm learning as well.
And follow up, are there any other significant things, adjustments, changes that you have made, whether it's scheme wise, personnel wise, anything like that over this last week?
Well, I finally finalized my defense. I now have 2 presses. I have 2 zones. We have our trap options out of different things now. So now I feel like I'm fully armored to go to war. And when we went to South Dakota, we didn't have a zone. We weren't really a pressing team. We were trying to put energy into the game, and then we didn't have DeAndre, so he was a big part of what we were doing in practice before we went. So we went with a totally different team, and we weren't as well prepared defensively in all the areas that I would like to be because we were bringing guys up to speed in other areas that I didn't get a chance to put 5 different defenses in that I really like to run. And now everything is in. So I'm feeling more comfortable with being able to call certain defenses at a certain time to kind of disrupt a tempo of what another team is doing.
Clayton?
Good morning, Coach. Just to go back to that new offense, is that something that you've brought to the program yet at Memphis at the college level? And if not, why is now the time to bring that offense?
Yeah, I've had it, for 12 years, and I've always ran it. I just didn't bring it to college. The first year had a senior group, so I was like, okay, Jeremiah, we can get him in position to allow him to handle the ball and score for us, and he did. The following year was all freshmen, so I didn't really want to spring that on them. I wanted them to be, energy and being loose. And then this year, we've been struggling in a lot of areas, and scoring is one of them. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and implement this now. And the reason now is because we've been struggling with the other style. And this gets us in the paint. To me, this gets us more free throws. This gets us to crash the offensive glass. We haven't been a great offensive rebounding team. And that's the reason why I wanted to change it now. And then we had the time.
Terry?
Hey, Coach, is everyone healthy or any roster changes coming up for the game on tomorrow night?
Everyone's healthy. Alex's thumb is better now. It was really swollen when we played Tulsa, and now he's much better. And Malcolm is back. He's set out the amount of games that he needed to get comfortable and to get his knees feeling better, and we're all fully healthy now.
Mark?
Hey, Penny, real quick, do you have a name for this offense? Like, do you have you call it anything specific?
It's a lion set, Lion, the lion. It's basically, I made it lion because of for a lot of reasons. The king of the jungle. It's a lot of one-on-one battles that you have to win, and the lion is not going to lose too many battles. So it's not. We didn't do tigers. We did lion.